Jedi, at last we will have revenge. The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural. Now you will experience the full power of the dark side.
I'm your host, John, the real JP3. I'm joined as always by my good friend and fellow Sith Lord, who is the master of the dark side, expert on the occult, and obtainer of rare antiquities and holocrons. Please welcome Dark Lord of the Sith, David.
What's going on, buddy? How you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
You know, I'm doing good. It's going to be episode 112 of the Rule 2, a Star Wars podcast. It's a good day, man. We're talking Star Wars. The Mandalorian trailer just came out yesterday. I'm wearing my Rule 2 Mandalorian shirt that is a little bit too tight. That tells me I need to start working out again. But other than that, it's a good day.
That's good. That's good. You do need to start working out again. It's a little too tight.
It is, and not in the good way. Not in the good way. Like, you know, if it's tight and they're like, oh man, that guy's like, he's a beefcake. He's, you know, he look good. Nah, man. You know, the pudge muscle starting to show. It doesn't look good. Yeah, pudge muscle. Coined it.
Pudge Muscle coined it. So you brought up the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian trailer just dropped. We are, at the time of this recording, which is October 29th, airing on Disney Plus on November 12th, 2019, with episode 2 dropping November 15th of 2019.
The same day
So,
Fallen Order comes out.
yeah, so again, you bring up something else that came out today. So the official Jedi Fallen Order trailer came out today from StarWars.com. It's up on our Facebook page. It just seems like, you know, I'm trying to think through like how to phrase this. So you think through all the information that we've received and how we continue to receive it, and it truly blows my mind. I was driving home from work today, and I was like, you know what? We're going to podcast. We're going to talk about a topic. Usually we have to find a topic of something that's going on. The last couple of weeks, there's been so much information that's come out. It's like Christmas came early, and Star Wars is giving us a gift.
And you know what? Let's not even... Okay, so we're talking about the Mandalorian trailer today. We are talking about the Fallen Order little tidbit that you got there. We're talking about Bill Burr being in the Mandalorian trailer. We are talking about Benioff and Weiss and how they are dropping out of the race to do a Star Wars series of films. You know, Rian Johnson makes it sound like his isn't going down anymore. So a lot of things are in the air for Star Wars, but then we're not even getting a chance, John, because we keep falling behind to talk about the Resistance.
Yeah.
Like, we totally skipped over the last couple of episodes. I haven't even seen last Sunday's episode.
I haven't seen the last 2.
Yeah, I think I haven't seen the last 2 either, now that you mention it.
It's been... And the weird thing is, too, is like, it's the last season. I get some people like it, some people don't like Resistance. But I haven't even seen anything. Like, you don't see people posting about it. You don't see people talking about it. We've always kind of told ourselves that, like, even if nobody else is talking about it, we're going to talk about it. Like, let's be different about it. Yeah. And we just have not had a chance to dig in and talk about Resistance. And so hopefully we get that done this weekend. We catch up. We can watch them and bring you guys some synopsis without spoiling too much.
Yeah, I just think there's been so much other news that's taking priority over Resistance, which, don't get me wrong, I'm not the biggest fan of, but I still want to see where the story ends, even more so with people pointing out that the Colossus is potentially in the background of that horde of Resistance-looking ships in the Rise of Skywalker trailer.
Yeah, and we still have not received any official that I am aware of. And I look at this probably once a week. I haven't looked this week yet. No official, like, hey, there's a mid-season finale. Like, it's going to break and pick back up. My speculation was The Mandalorian. There's an episode airing the 18th, which is the day before The Rise of Skywalker comes out. It's going to give us some tidbits about The Rise of Skywalker. That's my philosophy, my thought process. Nobody else has confirmed that. I think something similar will happen with Resistance. But as you mentioned, you brought this up, I think 2 episodes ago, you're like, it won't be anything like earth-shattering, John. It won't be anything that you had to have watched those 2 series to be able to pick it up in The Rise of Skywalker. It'll be very subtle, but the people who did see it, it'll be very noticeable.
They'll appreciate those nuggets, but it's not going to be something like, oh my God, I'm completely lost. What the hell's going on?
Yeah, and so that's what I'm excited about. I want to prove myself right. I want to prove everybody else that I was right.
It would be pretty sweet if that does come to fruition.
It would.
But then, I was talking to a buddy of mine on the Facebook page. I think I mentioned it the other day, or I don't remember if I did or not. But we were talking Jedi Fallen Order, potential spoilers, like, hey, who the second sister is, this, that, and the other. And it was a really good conversation. And this cat, Esteban, had a theory. And I met this guy at Star Wars Celebration. We were literally sitting in the Fallen Order panel next to each other. I've mentioned the guy before on the show because he was kind enough to hold my spot while I went to go get some nachos and a refill from my Star Wars drink. But we went on and on, talked about potential spoilers, second sister, whatnot. And then we both came to the conclusion, hey man, they're not going to give us anything that is going to connect or specifically spoil something in episode 9. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. And like he had this huge theory of like a Rey clone being the second sister, and I was like, dude, like the only way I could see that coming is if it comes into like a DLC downloadable content after the fact of Rise of Skywalker. They're not going to let that out before the movie, a month before the movie. Not going to happen. We might get some nuggets, kind of like what you said with Resistance as well as The Mandalorian, but nothing that's going to blow your mind or spoil anything for Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, and I think the only thing that we have confirmed that could be a potential spoiler for The Rise of Skywalker is the update coming to Star Tours at the Disney parks, where they will update the content to include characters and scenes from The Rise of Skywalker on those rides. Again, that's the only confirmation we have received. And granted, I don't think Disney or Lucasfilm is going to come out and say, hey, by the way, you got to watch this to get this. But that's the only confirmation we've had so far, received so far, that there will be an update and you will get some episode 9 action in that trip, in that tour. So if you're going to Disney parks and you're not going to see the movie beforehand, do not ride that ride.
I don't think it's going to be that expensive. It's that ride is not going to blow anything for the movie going experience. I don't think so, John.
We'll have to test it out.
But we're going to see the movie before we go to Disney.
Well, yeah, but we would have known if, like, oh, man, that would have been a potential spoiler because we found that out or something. There was a link in the movie.
See, but the thing about Star Tours is you don't pick the adventure you go on. You get in the darn thing and it's random. It could be Jakku, it could be Hoth, it could be whatever other random planet they've got in there. You're not guaranteed a specific adventure. So we could ride the thing 10 times and not get that one at all.
So we're going to ride it 10 times?
Why not? Why not? You're in Disney, man. Come on.
Anyway, so there's some other little news tidbits and things that we want to talk about. We want to talk about those before we get to the heavy hitting stuff. Nothing major, just I think some little nods that I think are pretty cool. So at London Comic Con this past week, Hasbro announced that they will be releasing 2 more Black Series figures, Zori Bliss, as well as a Knight of Ren. We posted those pictures on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages. And they're releasing a vintage collection Mandalorian item that is set. They are available for pre-order now on Amazon. If you did not know that, but they are. Another tidbit that they also did provide is that after several years of the price being at $19.99 for the Black Series 6-inch figure, Hasbro has made the decision that in spring of 2020 they will increase the price to $21.49. Not a huge increase, not a full $2. But with the cost of production and everything else, I can see it. It's one of those things. I think it's interesting that it's spring 2020, right before everybody heads to Celebration in August of 2020.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of it, and one of the articles I read speculated that it was due to the tariff war and the tariff like bounce back nonsense that we got going on with China right now. So it's more expensive for us to ship or get import freight from there. So that's kind of what they're guesstimating is the reason.
Yeah, no, Hasbro has not confirmed that. They just said after several years of being at a very low price point, we've made the decision to increase the price. Which again, we get it. It happens. It needs to go through.
So another little bit that I read when I was looking at those articles, they also show that they're going to release a Clone Wars Anakin and a Clone Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi Black Series figure. It
Really,
was on the same link. Like
man.
I look at it. The tagline was the one for Zori Bliss and the Knight of Ren, and then right there it showed the vintage, and then the next one down was Obi-Wan and Anakin. I was like, what? Let me click it. So it's got the Obi-Wan with the Jesus looking hair and the beard, and Annie the same way with a little braid on the side. The way they look in Attack of the Clones. The way they
Okay.
look in Attack of the Clones, that's the way these figures look. Pretty cool. I myself will probably pick up that Knight of Ren. I'm really disappointed they didn't release multiple Knights of Ren, different looking Knights of Ren.
I was gonna say, are you upset that they didn't release the Knights of Ren, the Knights with an S of Ren?
Yes, exactly. Like I want to be able to be like, ooh, that's Knight of Ren Phil. That's Knight of Ren Sarah. That's Knight of Ren Deacon. Like, you know what I mean? Like I want to be. I don't know. I want to be able to grab multiple cats that are in the Knight of Ren.
Well, but you also don't know the full lineup. There could be additional Knights of Ren coming out. You got the Comet coming next year. Other Black Series.
I don't know.
If you
Comic
think
is coming
about
this
this,
year.
is it going to finish this year?
I believe so. It's only a 4 issue. No, it's going to go into January. So it goes into January, February, and March.
Not
It's a
much.
four
But
issue
anyway,
spread, but either way.
regardless, you have time for more. If you think about this, how many Obi-Wan Kenobi Black Series figures are there out there? Different variations. There's several. Same with Anakin Skywalker,
Yeah,
Darth
but if you're going
Vader.
to go big, why don't you go big and release all the Knights at once? Because this one's not coming out till March. I mean, not till March. Till what? When did you say these figures were coming out?
It was a pre-order. I didn't think they gave an official date.
Yes, I
They
think you
just said
said.
it was.
I want to say it was early or late spring. So that
No, the
means
price increases spring
okay.
2020.
There has like if you click the Amazon link or search on Amazon, it should tell you when it's like expected to be shipped to you. But I'm just thinking, okay, if they wait till the next wave of Black Series figures, that's not till the following year or the following season, or you have to wait X amount of time. Just let out the whole Knights of Ren pack together, like one big box set of the Knights of Ren. That would be amazing. You get 5 knights in the pack. It's beautiful. Anything?
March 31st of 2020. So I'm assuming the price increase goes in right after that.
Okay, so you get these guys, and then if you want the other knights, you have to wait another 6 months, 7 months, and then they come out. I'm not a fan of that, John. I want all of them on my shelf at once.
So this is I know not everybody can see this. This is the Anakin Skywalker one you were talking about.
Yeah. You see it?
So coming out May 31st of 2020. So 2 months after, the price is $21.49.
Okay, so $21.49 for Anakin and Obi.
Yeah, it actually, you know how Amazon does that partnership. It's like, hey, you looked at this. Why don't you buy this? Anakin was on the one Zori list.
Oh, damn you, Amazon, for your convenience. But will you be picking up the Zori or the Knight of Ren? And I know you currently own 0 Black Series figures.
Every Black Series figure I get to give to you.
You've never given me a Black Series figure, except for the one that I won at Star Wars Celebration from the Twin Suns Foundation.
Which then he tells me, I already have that because someone already bought it for me because they know I like him. And I was like, whatever. Rude ass.
You don't even have any Star Wars Funkos, do you?
No, that's a path I'm not ready to go down. Like,
I'm just thinking, you don't really have any Star Wars action figures, any really Star Wars
No,
memorabilia. You
I
have
have
books.
I have paintings, I have books, and I have paintings. Yeah, autograph paintings. That's what I have a lot of. That's what I collect, which is a lot more expensive than your action figures, by mind you. I could buy a crap ton of action figures for the amount that I pay for paintings sometimes. I don't know why. I'm just for me. So the funny thing is the company I work for, they had a show, and I got a bunch of like toys at the show, and I actually took them out of all the packages today, and I put them up in my office. But like I wouldn't do that. And then so my boss also gave me a Jar Jar Binks in his Attack of the Clones. He was cleaning out his house because he's moving, and he was like, "I have a present for you." Because he asked me how my day was going. I was like, "Not very good." He's like, "I have a present for you." And then he's like, "Sith Lord Jar Jar Binks," and I was like, "That's pretty funny actually." And so it sits on my computer, and every day I'm having a bad day, I punch him.
Well, Ahmed Best would not be happy to hear that, John.
I don't think of him at best. I just think of Jar Jar Binks.
That's poodoo. Um, now I can't get the image of you punching little Jar Jar in the face.
I'm gonna video it next time I do it.
No, because then it's gonna cause hate for you punching Jar Jar, and then. Okay, next topic. What do we got?
So Dave is gonna throw his name in the hat for this one. He's excited.
Okay.
He's gonna do it. There is a rare Boba Fett J-Shot rocket firing prototype with only 30 that were made ever that is on the bidding sites at over $120,000 is the bid right now. Only 30 made. Oh my gosh. Like you said, the rarest of the rare.
Pretty much, yeah.
Never probably going to find anything like this again. The action figure looks so cool, and you can tell it's an older one compared to what we get nowadays for action figures. But 120,000. It is to date the highest bidded item for any Star Wars action figure. The previous one I can't remember, was like $113,000 is what it ended up selling for. I don't remember the exact figure it was, but even then, like $113,000, like, come on. That's a lot.
Hey, you got the bankroll, man.
Like, just think about, like, do you take payments? In
No.
Dave's case, do you take credit cards? Like,
No,
do you
they
take
don't
credit
take
cards?
payments. They're not going to let you plastic bomb it. They're going to want cash. Like, where's the cabbage at? No, we don't take PayPal and coupons and all that other stuff. It's straight up
I got a
cabbage.
Groupon.
Yeah, I don't think that works.
Yeah, but $120,000, and that was from a couple of days ago, so I can only imagine what the bid may be at now.
Yeah.
The article just said it was over $120,000, and it was the highest one to date. Like, but you gotta think, only 30 made. Like, that's a pretty rare instance.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculously awesome. Would it be great to have that and like put it in a beautiful showcase and put it in your man cave or the middle of your living room? Because forget it, we're not even gonna watch TV anymore. We're just gonna look at the Boba Fett. Yeah, it'd be awesome, but.
Yeah, well, you live in your car and you can't watch your TV, so you look at the navigation screen in your car because it's the only TV you have because you spent all your money on a Boba Fett.
Or somebody ridiculously rich will buy it. Like
True story.
It's gonna come out that Jack Black bought it. Like somebody random, you know what I mean?
Like, and it's nothing to them. It's like, here's a house. Here you go. Have a nice day.
Pretty much. Which would be pretty cool to have that. I want to see who ends up picking it up. If it is a celebrity, I want to see who it is. I don't know. Wouldn't it be great if it was like one of the guys of, it's like John Boyega.
Oh yeah.
Like, it would just be pretty cool.
But I could also see them being like, I wouldn't want to, if it, not that I'm not rich, but yeah, like I could also see them being like, no, we want to let the fans pick it up. Like, we'll let the fans have something like that.
Who's to say they're not a fan?
I'm not saying that, but like fans who like go from that perspective. Like, I know for me, I'm like, no, if I'm like got a lot of money and I'm famous and I want something, like, I'm like, that's the rarest thing in the world. Yeah, I'm gonna find a way to drop 120 large.
Exactly. So, I don't know. It's just gonna be fun to see who picks it up.
I know. So,
What do you got next?
So those are our like main topic item. So I'll give you the options. We can go Jedi Fallen Order, which I don't know if you've seen the trailer. I saw it. Benioff and Weiss, and then Mando trailer.
Can we go with the Mando trailer as well as watch the Mando trailer, John?
No,
Please.
I forbid you.
Please.
Okay, fine.
Sweet.
You want to watch it on the screen like we did the last time? Because I didn't prepare for that.
That or I can just pull up on my iPad somewhere.
Pull it up on your iPad.
Do you remember it?
Yeah. I remember it. Here and there, I remember certain parts. I'll watch it with no volume.
Okay, and I will put the volume on my side, and we can watch this little ditty. Gotta remember my passcode.
Oh, did you see the reaction video that they posted to tease the trailer earlier yesterday with Gina Carano, Pedro Pascal, not Nick Nolte, Carl Weathers.
Yeah.
Thank you. What were your thoughts?
They're all so excited to be a part of Star Wars, man. I love it. Like, it's just awesome. It really is. Okay, I'm locked and loaded. Let me turn my volumes up.
Okay.
And this trailer, mind you, it shows a little bit more of what we've already seen for just about all the scenes that we have. There's very few scenes that are actually new. Do you want to play it all the way through? Do you want to stop? What do you want to do, John? You going to play it all the way through and then go back at it?
Let's play it all the way through, and then we can go back and chop it up from there.
All right.
You just tell me when.
And now.
Is the world more peaceful since the revolution? It is a shame that your people suffered. But bounty hunting is a complicated profession. They said you were coming. They said you were the best in the parsec. Would you agree? Mandalorian, look outside. They are waiting for you. Yeah? Good.
Dude. What do you think?
Well, so do you want me to, do you want to start back at the beginning, or do you want me to go John style and just chop up everywhere?
Let's go from the beginning. General thoughts on the trailer. Getting you more hyped, less hyped, or you're still the same level of hyped?
I'm still the same level of hype. So for me, when I first saw the trailer, you sent it to me, and I was just like, eh. It didn't really do it for me. It used a lot of the same content that we've already seen, which makes sense. You don't want to give too much away, considering the fact it's not a movie. You don't have a whole lot of time frames to work with. And you don't want to give information you don't want to have scenes seen from episode 7 or something so I get it. But it didn't do much for me. I will tell you, there are certain parts of it that I was like, okay. I heard the Mandalorian talk.
This is the first time I've heard him talk, actually.
Yes, and he said 2 words. Heard the Mandalorian talk. There was one part that I'm telling you, outside of him talking, that I thought was absolutely amazing. The lady at the end looks like she tries to pick up his helmet. Take his helmet off.
Yeah, she's trying to pick it up to kiss him.
Yeah, so for me, I'm like, because we didn't know if we were going to get something like that. We didn't know if that was going to happen. And then everybody knows this, and Dave gets mad at me all the time. The guy who was talking most of the trailer, it's like bounty hunting is a complicated thing. Who is that?
Werner Herzog.
Thank you. That guy.
Every time.
Every time.
Every time.
And as soon as you said it, I was like, oh, it's a Warner guy. But anyway, so that guy, I'm gonna say it. Don't kill me. I think that guy is what makes me like get enthralled in this series.
Why is that? You don't even know his name.
His voice, the how he says things, the articulation, the way he says it is just impeccable. I watched the trailer right before we started podcasting with the voice on, and I was like, wow. Like, I didn't hear anything else but his voice. I didn't see anything else but hear him talk. To me, his voice is spot on.
It's pretty beast. I'll give you that 100%.
That was my official thoughts. I know I like jumped anyway but that was my official thoughts.
You know, we get to see a little bit more. I saw the trailer. I dug it. I was like, okay, that's badass. Okay, yeah, okay. But I didn't get a chance to sit there and dissect it. And I think I sent it to you yesterday, or maybe this morning. I don't remember. It's all starting to blur together. But
yesterday,
you see battle droids in the background. You see super battle droids in the background shooting things up. So it's awesome that we're getting to see some Clone Wars tech in this show that takes place after Return of the Jedi. So is it Babu Frick that is working on these droids and he's got them over here? I don't know. Is it some other crazy warlord? Is it somebody that had these guys stockpiled up somewhere? I don't know. I dig it. What do you think, John?
Yeah, so I'm rewatching again without it. You said the tech, and the first thing I went to was the carbonite.
Okay.
Yeah, so the carbonite, first time and only time that I remember that we saw that was in Empire Strikes Back.
In live action,
In live action. So for me, I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. That to me, that's somewhat of a nod. Just his, you get a little bit more of IG-88. It just
11.
Overall, I want to know more about Giancarlo's character, though. Just because you see him in the trailer quite a bit more than we have seen before. He looks like he's flying a ship. So I still, there's more that I want and more that I want to see. I'm glad it's only 2 weeks away. But I can't wait. I did not catch the battle droid like you did.
Well, I didn't catch it either at first. Like I had to see it pop up on like freaking Facebook, and I was like, "Oh, okay, cool, yeah."
Yeah, so I didn't catch it, and then you told me about it, and then I went back and watched it last night, and then I watched it again today, and I was like, okay, I like this. This is good. I like where it's going. I like what's happening. So I was super excited about it, but I still have questions about like the whole stormtrooper thing. You have one set of stormtroopers that look like they work for Werner Herzog. Oh, be proud of John for that one. And then you have another set of like stormtroopers that looks like their outfits are like super clean. Their armor's super clean. They're very white. They look new. Maybe I'm just when he walks out of the thing. Hold on.
Or let's break down the trailer from the beginning. So you see automatically heads on a spike. We've seen that scene before. It looks awesome. I think the visuals in this movie or this show are going to be stunning. They're going to be beautiful, man.
We got to be careful not to say movies.
Yeah. It feels like it. You've got, I forget the name of those darn little like lizards that they show like the canyon scene, and then they're riding on the very top.
Yeah.
Then you get to see some Trandoshan action. That same image that we got out of Entertainment Weekly, of the Trandoshans jumping the Mandalorian, you see it. And I love it. And I think I think Favreau is going to use or bring this term to light. The Mandalorian armor that he's got in there, that he's wearing, the Mandalorian, it's shots are bouncing off of it. You see one of the Trandoshans, I think, swipe and it hit the Mandalorian's armor and it just sparks. It doesn't phase the armor because that armor is called Beskar. It's from the expanded universe, Legends, whatever you want to call it now. And this is a very, very expensive, hard to mine iron item. And it's typically used by Mandalorians in their armor as well as their ships, even. I'm hoping Fav brings this to light and says exactly what it is. Because we're used to seeing stormtroopers getting shot, one shot and dead. I would love it if they take the time and talk about his armor. Thoughts, John?
I just paused it on a super cool shot.
I'll just forget everything I was saying.
No, I heard what you're saying. So, and I know they mentioned this in an article, or it was mentioned in a trailer, and it was mentioned in something that essentially, like, he's a Mandalorian, he's a bounty hunter. Obviously, we know that he's going out to get money, and some of the money or some of the items that he receives actually help go to fixing or rebuilding his armor or giving him new armor, which is the payment that he sometimes receives. And so, when you remember hearing that?
No, I remember we talked about that. It looks like his armor has gotten upgraded since the first time we see him.
There was an article that I read somewhere, which is surprising that I read it. They read somewhere that Werner Herzog, when he's like trying to pay him, that those are actually like upgrades or something for his armor to make it better or to rebuild it or to give him this material that's so rare, and that's why they do the jobs they do. I'll have to find it. It's going to be way too long to find it right now, but I'll find it and I'll send it to you. But yeah, so that I thought was awesome. The fact that it came from the expanded universe and you knew that, which I'm glad you did, because for me, I wouldn't have known that, and I would have just been like, "Oh, cool! This is armor that doesn't. It's very expensive, or some things it's different. It's got a different kind of tech because it just flashes off of it. It doesn't show anything. So for me, I was like, oh, that's a pretty nice nod. Now, again, nobody who has heard of that or known about that armor, know it's from the EU or Legends, whatever you want to call it. It wouldn't be anything different to them. That's the kind of nod stuff that I think is cool, and I'm glad you brought it up.
Oh, no, for sure. And they might have already brought it into canon, and I just don't remember it. I don't remember it popping up in Clone Wars. I don't remember it popping up in Rebels. It could have. It just might slip my mind. But either way, hopefully Fav either continues that tradition or brings it up first and foremost here in the show. When he's fighting the Trandoshans, that looks awesome. Those poor guys those Trandoshans don't stand a chance.
Mm-mm.
The Mandalorian is just beating them up. It looks like his rifle, the one that is reminiscent of the holiday special, the one that Boba Fett has. It looks like he uses it almost like a cattle prod stun gun. And one Trandoshan just flies. Do you see that? I'm at about 27 seconds and 25 seconds.
I know what you're talking about. I just didn't think it was his rifle. Hold on,
Like, it looks to me
That's
like
the thing.
it's
Some of this
rifle.
stuff happens so fast.
It's his rifle, bro. That or he takes a weapon from the Trandoshans.
Yeah, to me, it happens so fast that it's so hard to.
I think it's his rifle. Because it's no longer on his back like it is in the beginning of the scene. Before he gets jumped, it's on his back. At the end of the fight, he's got something in his hand.
Yeah, he keeps holding it.
I think he just pulls it off his back and kind of goes to town.
So would this rifle would that have been a modification to the rifle?
You don't know.
Okay.
You really don't even get to see the one in the holiday special that much. You know what I mean? We know he uses it, but we don't know if it's a mod, if it's a new feature, it's an upgraded model, what. Transitions to carbonite, a dude in carbonite, and you see at least 1, 2, 3, a total of 4 bodies frozen in carbonite. for bounties, frozen in carbonite.
Bounty hunting's a complicated thing.
You're so loving that line, man. I don't blame you.
Dude.
It's awesome. You see the Razor Crest flying in over that little greenery.
It's like, man, you shouldn't talk like me.
Yeah, I know that happens. You see somebody unloading the carbonated bodies
Yeah.
from the ship, and there's one coming off the ship, and if you look to the left, you see another 3 at 43-second mark. There might be more in there, who knows? And then you got the Mandalorian walking into town. You see a little cantina scene. Everybody turns and stops and looks at the guy when he walks in. Like, I've paused it. It looks like I see a Rodian for sure. Possibly a Trandoshan walking by the bar. A few humans. But other than that, I can't tell. And I'm sure we're going to get some new species. Some species that have been in the original trilogy, only in the background, and Fav's going to do the same thing. The old school cantina shot kind of thing. It just looks awesome. And you get a close-up of some little blue dude. I don't know his species. He looks all sad, though. He looks like Eeyore. And then that's where they drop the line. We heard you were coming. They say you're the best in the parsec. Oh, man, that's awesome. You see a chick in red armor. Looks beast. Blonde. Right next to it's I don't know what it is. A guy, a girl. Bald head. Blue in complexion also. You see that? At 52.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then again, this is where you get stormtroopers. So when he walks out and he fires like point blank at that other stormtrooper's chest at 58 seconds, I think those guys are with Gustavo Fring.
Okay, that's what I was saying. It looks like it's new. It's a newer armor than the ones that were inside.
Yeah, I just think it's cleaner because they're still living by the old lay of the land of the Empire. Like, hey, you got to keep your everything clean, tidy, very militaristic, versus a bunch of deserters that are just wearing the armor still. But, and again, at that shot, you see bullets or blaster bolts flying off. Somebody comes out of that building behind the Mandalorian at about 59 seconds, maybe a minute.
Yeah, then it cuts quickly away.
Exactly. I couldn't tell if that's Carl Weathers' character or someone else. I can't tell. It's too quick. I've tried looking. And then right when that person gets out of the doorway, the Mandalorian blasts, and that reddish color covers up that person, so you can't really see. November 12th. Some little girl. Obviously, she's going to be a big part of the Mandalorian.
And this is where you see the droids.
Yeah. They were saying that ship flying above, that's also Clone Wars tech. I can't make it out. I'm not a big, ship aficionado. So I can't tell. But in the background, it is indeed some battle droids at 105 seconds. What do you think, John? Are you excited to see these things live action again?
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're gonna say it's not, or it's a different kind of tech, or it's gonna be something different. But I don't know. They look more beastly than the previous ones.
Because I think they actually made these props. Whether it's a guy in a suit, like half mocap, like K2SO. I don't think Fav would go completely CGI like they did in the prequel trilogy. So I think this is a hybrid.
Yeah, I have it paused at 106. You have a lady, obviously a guy, and he's holding a kid. They're in red gowns, but if you look behind them, and maybe it's the effect of the shot, but it's like, man, like that looks like a beastly droid. It looks more beastly than you've seen before. And to me, I'm just like, I didn't know about the whole let's build it or whatever. To me, I can usually tell if something's CGI, like if you build the droid or you CGI it.
Gotcha. You mean practical effects?
Yes. So I can usually tell pretty quickly if we CGI something or something. If we like, I do this.
Well, I don't
If
know.
something's CGI,
K2SO looked pretty beast, and that was a half and half.
yeah. So, but like you can. What was something else that we saw was very CGI'd in Star Wars? I can't remember now. Like at the end of Rogue One, Princess Leia being CGI, that was super obvious that it was CGI. Usually, you can tell pretty easily if things are CGI. But yeah, so I don't know. I think it would be a nice breath of fresh air, if that's the right way to say it, or right thing to say, for Fav to use like, "Hey, we built this," or this is mostly all a prop. It's not. It's somebody's in there. It's not something that's done by a computer, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. 107, you got some guy crawling out of, I guess, a cantina, a building. I forget the name of the race. The little squid-looking dudes. They're mentioned in Clone Wars. I can't remember the name. They live.
Calamari.
No, they live on the same planet as the Mon Cals. I want to say it's like not Quarian because that's freaking Mass Effect.
I don't remember. I
See if
don't
you can
remember
see if you can
names.
Google it real quick. See if you can Google it real quick, and it's probably like squid alien race, Star Wars, or natives to Mon Cal, something. But either way, the guy turns, trying to evade the Mandalorian, shoots. It bounces off his armor, and what's the Mandalorian do right away? Boom! Pull out his blaster, shoots the door, and that's where he gets cut in half from the previous trailer. And then you get some weird
Quarren
corn. God, I was close.
or squid heads.
Okay, so I was kind of both on right. Um, and then it shoots to the scene of this roaring rhino mammoth looking thing. And
I thought of the Rancor.
huh?
I thought of the Rancor.
Why'd you think of the Rancor?
Just because it's kind of dragging him and everything else. Oh, the Rancor. The Rancor.
And then it goes to a shot of the Mandalorian, which looks like he's in his cockpit, next to an Eggnot, Nick Nolte.
It looks very small.
Yeah, the Eggnots are small.
Like super tiny small.
Yeah, the Eggnots are tiny. Don't you remember them in
Like
Empire Strikes Back?
like this tiny. Like sit on your shoulder.
I don't know about that tiny. You don't remember in Empire Strikes Back?
No, I don't.
They're running around in the background and they're walking down the hallways as
Oh yes. Okay, now you said running around, walking in the hallways. That's what I got.
yeah, they're short. They're almost like the equivalent to hobbits, like in size wise perspective. Some speeder bikes in the sand, beautiful dunes, Razor Crest in space getting hunted down. Some Carl Weathers action. This part just goes pretty fast.
Gina Carano, Giancarlo, IG-88,
IG-11.
IG-11. Sorry.
I'm trying to see who the hell's with Carl Weathers. Anybody that we know? I'd love to see Hondo in this show pop up. Like a Hondo Onaka, just pop up out of nowhere. That'd be pretty awesome.
Sorry, guys. Looks like there's black stormtroopers behind them, like Death Troopers.
Yep.
Okay.
IG-11, we see that massacre, the chick taking his helmet off, Gina Carano being a beast. Oh, and then you see Bill Burr at 1 minute and 29 seconds. So Bill Burr, if you guys don't know, he's a comedian. He's popped up in Breaking Bad. He helped Walter White move all of his money, stole some of his money. He's never really been a big sci-fi guy, and like Fav told him casually, like, hey, I think it'd be pretty funny. I think you should do it. They had lunch, and here he is. I don't know if he's a Mandalorian or what, but you see him dual-wielding pistols. And very, very Predator-like. He's got a gun mounted over his shoulder that's automatically shooting. That is awesome. It's like a little autocannon kind of thing.
It reminds me of like those alien things from like Men in Black that just come out on like somebody's back and they start shooting or whatever. That's what it reminded me of. But I thought that was a pretty cool effect as well. But it was that was awesome. There's a lot of shooting, and then you don't end, but like he's flying. He's on a ship apparently. He's Carl Weathers' ship. I'm gonna Carl Weathers, Gianna Carlo, and he ends up on the cockpit. This is my thing: is I want to know more about his character. Who is he? What is he doing? Where did he come from? What's his background? Like all of that information, I want to know more. Just because he's the one. Like even Werner Herzog.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like, dude. I want to know more about you, but you're a beast because of the way you say things and your articulation. Gina Carano, yeah, not awesome. Want to know a little bit more, somewhat about the Mandalorian, but Giancarlo, like, I want to know. Like, I want to know.
So
what's going on, dude?
And I don't know if you said it already, because I'm not gonna lie to you, I zoned out. I got a text message from work, but I know you mentioned the Mandalorian is in the next scene with Gina Carlo. He's on a TIE fighter. He's holding on by a grappling hook. Did you already talk about this?
Yes, that's what I was saying. He was flying through the air on a ship, and I didn't specify the TIE fighter thing, but he was flying through the air on the ship, and then he ends up on the cockpit, and then it like cuts out, and that's when I was like, I want to know more about him.
So I don't think he's flying per se. He is using a jetpack, which we all wondered, is the Mandalorian going to use a jetpack? But you can tell he's strapped on with like a little rope, a grappling hook that you see in Clone Wars from Jango Fett using on Obi in their fight. But at the very end, you see him kick up that rocket. Like, that's awesome. I can't wait to see if he's going to take flight at some point, use a flamethrower, or just start dual wielding some pistols. The possibilities for the show are endless. It is ridiculous. And from the early reviews and conversation of people that have seen this thing, like standing ovation. Standing ovation. And then you hear Pedro Pascal talk a little bit. It's awesome.
And to me, I really can't tell it's him either. Like, he says two words, and I'm like, is it him? Is it him? Is it him? But you really can't hear it. So it's just one of those things that you deal with and go through it. But it's either way, this gave us a little bit of a taste. Like I said, for me, it wasn't a big deal. It was about the same. But I think, obviously, I get it. They're cutting out different slots of pictures and photos and screens and everything else just to piece it all together. And so we'll get more at the end of it, but I'm pretty excited. I can't wait for November 12th. I'm going to watch it at 12:01 a.m.
If it drops at that time.
It will.
I'm hoping. But guys, gals, grits, chiz, Rodians, if we missed anything and you saw it in that trailer, hit us up. Hit us in the DMs, Facebook us, email us, twat us, tweet us, Instagram us. Whatever, we're available. Anyways, what's next on the docket?
So I want to say this. I don't think we have. We're not going to go through the trailer, but the Jedi Fallen Order official trailer was dropped earlier today. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
So I'm going to tell you. I told you earlier. I don't want to go through a big. Yes.
There's another trailer for it?
Yes, it says official trailer.
No.
Yes, I posted it on our Facebook page right before we started podcasting.
Huh.
I don't want to talk through it because I'm not going to know anything that's going on.
Well, neither are the listeners. They don't know what's going on either. The launch trailer?
Yeah.
It's a minute long. We got this. Come on. I didn't even know about this. I'm like super excited right now.
I've literally said it 3 times on the show.
I just thought you were talking nonsense. I wasn't. You never know. We're going to play it real quick. Ninth Sister. Oh, man. Cal Kestis.
We've lost. The Empire's hunting Jedi survivors. Cal, they know who you are. can't change the past.
You trespass, Jedi.
But I'm done hiding. Cal Kestis. You will always struggle. It's the choice to keep fighting that makes us who we are.
Okay, nothing we haven't really seen before.
On Xbox One.
Xbox One. Check us out.
I'm gonna
November
get it
15th.
on Xbox One.
Pre-order.
Yes. Nothing we really haven't seen before. It looks awesome. Yeah. I'm gonna get it. Gonna play it. Can't wait. I got the one with the Purge Trooper Black Series figure.
Of course he did. All right. Final thing that we're going to talk about today. This broke this morning, Tuesday, October 29th. Benioff and Weiss have announced that they will no longer be participating in the Star Wars trilogy that was set to come out in 2022. They have decided that they are going to exit stage left from the Star Wars franchise. They didn't really give any reason except the fact that their schedule is really busy. Apparently, they just signed a 9-figure deal with Netflix in August. Now, let's remember some things. They signed the deal with Disney earlier in the year, so I'm wondering if something else didn't happen. I feel like there's mischievousness. I know I didn't say that word right. Mischief amok something. I cannot speak these words right now. But anyway, I feel that something else is going on. Something's not right. Kathleen Kennedy did make a statement. Entertainment Weekly broke this. Dateline broke this. She opened the door and said, hey, we respect their decision. If they ever choose to come back to the Star Wars franchise or universe again, we'd be happy to have them to help us out with a movie or something like that. So I'm really surprised, but I'm surprised that they're exiting stage left. The other thing, though, if you listen to all the fans, or not listen, but see all the fans' comments and reactions, I have not found a one that is upset by this news.
They're disappointed by it, yeah.
Not a single fan that I've read, and I didn't read like a lot of like all the comments that people have been posting, but I have not found a single fan that is upset by this news. We even had people posted on our Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter, said the same thing. They're like, we're not upset by this news. We're okay with it. So we'll see what happens. Also, this is a side note, and I'll get your thoughts here in a minute. HBO has confirmed cancellation of the Game of Thrones prequel. Yes.
I didn't even know about that.
They filmed a pilot, the entire pilot. And I forgot who the director and everything else was. They filmed an entire pilot and made the decision that they will not be moving forward with the prequel. However, apparently they have not canceled the other prequel talking about the Targaryens. But there is no pilot set for that date. No pilot set for that or date yet, so we could still see more. We'll have to wait and see. I think this is a lot of people, went after Benioff and Weiss and said, hey, you guys like screwed up season 8, right? Yeah.
I don't know if it was 8
Was
or
it 7 or 8?
It was 7, but I don't know.
Anyway, they screwed up the last season. They were upset about it. People are saying they're not as good as they thought they were just because now they wrote the script on what they had. It wasn't finished yet by the original author. And so there's just a lot of people that are like kind of saying, hey, you didn't do as well as we thought you were going to do. You did these great things before, but when you don't have somebody else writing it for you or somebody else giving you a slate, you're not that great at what you do. So I'll let you speak. And then there's another article that I found right before we started shooting.
These guys, everybody has a bad taste in their mouth because of the last thing that they saw. No one was happy, or at least the majority of people were not happy with the way the show ended. I myself would have liked some things differently. But everybody, I don't care what franchise it is, everybody writes the ending before you get there. John, you in your mind, you have the epitome of how you want episode 9 to end.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. My version's not going to happen. Freaking George Lucas's version's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, it's we all have these expectations, and I think that's what kills certain things or certain directors, certain visions, things like that. I'm going to tell you right now, the last season of Game of Thrones wasn't all that for me. But I don't think they did it alone. I think they had input from George R. R. Martin that said, "Oh yeah, okay, no, you go ahead and do something along those lines. I like it. I dig it." Maybe just the execution wasn't the best, but in that show, in that last season, you had some of the best visuals. You had some of the best acting that they brought forth from Emilia Clarke, like going crazy, not being loved and embraced, and no more Khaleesi and all that other jazz. They captured those moments. They captured Tyrion not being the smartest man in the room. That they captured the fact that Dany just went freaking apeshit and burned down King's Landing because she could.
Yeah.
The scene where you have Arya riding on the horse and just trying to get out of King's Landing while it's burning. It was beautifully shot. Beautifully shot. The Battle of Winterfell, it was super dark. No one liked it. Change your TV settings. You're good. Was I happy that the Night King went down like a punk? No, not at all, but I guarantee if they would have had another season after the one that was the final season, the show would have been so much better. The show would have been so much better because you would have had one entire season to wrap up the Night King, one entire season to wrap up the Battle of the Living of Cersei and all that other jazz. They rushed it. They tried to cram too much in there. And it's not their fault. Maybe HBO said, hey, you got to get it done at this time. We don't know all the inner workings. We're never going to know all the inner workings. Do I think they would have done a fantastic job with the Star Wars property? I do. These guys know what they're doing behind the camera. Are we ever going to see it? Probably not. Just a rant.
So it's funny you say that, and I'll find this article and I'll send it to you because this is more of that. So apparently, Benioff and Weiss were at the Austin Film Festival, and were very candid in their responses.
Okay.
And some of their responses stated like, "We have no idea why George R. R. Martin trusted us with this franchise. We were new. We didn't know what we were doing." Like, I'm like, no, wait a minute. Like, then you called me and we were getting ready to shoot. So like I said, I don't know if I didn't get to like fact check the article. It wasn't from that one website that we don't like. But it's basically saying like, they wrote a full page on like, we didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know anything about costume designers. We didn't know anything about everything else we had to do.
You fake
We
it till
just
you make
did
it.
it. Yeah, they were like, we just did what we did. We had people helping us and we did it. They said, they gave us something and expected us to be like this great thing, and it just didn't turn out the way that everybody wanted it to. But we didn't know. We were new. Why they trusted us with such a huge property and such a huge franchise is beyond us. We don't know why they did it. And I was just like, whoa.
That doesn't seem
Whoa.
right at all.
So that's what I'm saying. I haven't like fact checked it yet, but as you were talking, I was trying to find that article. Literally, maybe less than about 15 minutes ago, HBO gives Game of Thrones Targaryen prequel a full series order of 10 episodes. After they just announced earlier today they were cutting that other series.
But even then, Benioff and Weiss, they're not doing this series. They didn't do the pilot. They didn't do this Targaryen series.
No, they weren't doing it. So, but here's what I'm saying is Lucasfilm on Monday announced that Benioff and Weiss were no longer going to be a part of the Star Wars franchise. Today, they announced that there was a lot of Game of Thrones news, meaning now this could be because Warner Media had its stakeholder call, and they were getting ready. They're launching a streaming service as well called HBO Max. And so there was a lot of information that was released about Game of Thrones. This was about, hey, this other prequel that we've already done the pilot, we've already spent all the money. We're not doing that no more. Now we're going to do this other one that we have not done the pilot. We have nothing for ordering 10 episodes. So the unofficial working title for the previous prequel was The Long Night. I was supposed to be starring Naomi Watts. Is no longer moving forward. So, and Benioff and Weiss's other HBO show that they were supposed to be working on, Confederate,
Yeah.
was also canceled due to the controversy behind it.
Behind the show Confederate?
Yes. Just because of the message it would be sending. It was supposed to be what if the South had won or something. There's a lot of information going on right now about these two and everything else going on in the world. And we could sit here and talk all day, but it's a Star Wars podcast. And I just wanted to bring up the Benioff and Weiss and get your thoughts. I kind of went through all mine, and I'm kind of sad. I am sad. I'm not going to lie. But, you know, I get it. I agree with you. I don't think they're ever going to be back. As much as we would want them to, I don't think they're ever going to be back. But I really am interested in finding out, is this just really because they're too busy, or is this because something else happened and they're just not telling us at this point? Because Lucasfilms has had so many other directors quit or leave for creative differences or fired. Are they trying to not make it sound so bad? Just a thought.
It happens. And then I think the most recent interviews with Ryan Johnson from his tour for Knives Out, he's saying like, Disney's weighing their options of what they want to do, but that's okay because I've got other projects that I've got in mind. That tells me that Disney's pushing back on him also. So,
Maybe
Benioff and Weiss, that might have been their choice to push back on Disney, but I think Disney's telling Ryan, whatever you want to say his name, hey, bud, we might not be interested in that trilogy anymore. Your name is it's still a little sore in people's minds. We're gonna wait on this. But you got a guy like Kevin Feige already stepping up to the plate, to help produce a Star Wars project with Kathleen Kennedy. The Russo brothers have been on the Star Wars show. Give
so you also got
a trilogy.
You got to think, Kevin Feige, that announcement came 2 weeks ago. That's now, maybe they came and Benioff and Weiss said 2 weeks ago, hey, we don't want to do this. But in order to make them not seem like they were connected, they made this decision, said, hey, you know what? You're no longer involved. That's fine. We're going to push forward this other direction, but we're going to announce them separately so people don't think that they're together. It's a political thing. I get it. Every company does it. Every business does it. We'll have to see what happens. So,
I don't know, man. Either way, the future of Star Wars is bright. We don't know who's directing. We don't know who's doing what. Maybe everybody that's done an episode of The Mandalorian, they might get their own film. We might get a Star Wars film directed by Taika Waititi. We might get a Dave Filoni. We might get a Jon Favreau. We're in good hands. We're in good hands, Star Wars fans. We ain't got nothing to worry about. Benioff and Weiss move on. Ryan Johnson moves on. There's always directors. Speaking of, The Last Jedi keeps rising on my list of likability.
We ain't got time to go through this.
I'm just saying, it keeps rising on my level of likability. Yeah.
Anyway, that's it. That's all we have for you today. I'm not going to jump on this train of the Last Jedi conversation with Dave right now. We will come back once the Rise of Skywalker comes out, and we will do a re-ranking of our movie. But we thank you for tuning in today, guys. Thank you for listening to us. If you have any thoughts, opinions, feedback whatsoever about any of the news articles or items that we covered, I just want to say, hey, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Rule of Two Pod. You can also check out our Facebook page and get a link to our Audible account, or an Audible account where you can sign up for a 30-day free trial and 2 free audiobooks. Check us out on TeePublic, www.teepublic.com. Look for us at The Rule of Two Pod. And you can also go to Ultra Sabers, and if you find a saber that you like, put it in your cart. When you go to check out, use coupon code ForceFeels, all one word, all caps. You receive 10% off from the Royal 2 podcast. Does not work on accessories or discounted lightsabers. We are the Royal 2 of Star Wars podcasts. And as always, may the Force.
Thank you for tuning in today. We are The Rule of Two, a Star Wars podcast. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Rule of Two Pod. Check us out on our website at www.theruleoftwopodcast.com or send us an email via contact@theruleoftwopodcast.com. Check us out on Patreon and TeePublic for exclusive deals and merchandise. And we are in no way affiliated with Disney, Lucasfilms, or the Collider podcast Rule of Two. And as always, may the Force be with you.
Fulfill your destiny. Once more, the Sith will rule the galaxy.
We shall